No more fitting way than the Black Eyed Peas to kick us off with their famous song, Let's Get It Started. Final matchup of the weekend and of College Hockey South action in the Division I men's scene. This is only two of the four, now five upsets that have happened this weekend between the women's and Division I's bracket. For those of you who are tuning in for the previous game, you just saw the Alabama Frozen Tide pull the upset off as the number 2 seed over the Tampa Spartans to claim their first ever College Hockey South championship in their first year in existence for the women's division. And now we have the Spartans of Tampa at the number 3 seed against the Gamecocks of South Carolina at the number 4 seed. Welcome to everyone watching around the world. I'm Spencer Thompson alongside Will Morrow. Riley Mercer joins us ringside. Proud to be with you in Athens, Georgia. And we'll hear from Riley in a minute as we are underway here at Center Ice. And these teams, we were watching both of those matchups last night with Charlie and Sawyer having the call on those ones. And amazing to think about Tampa getting to this championship after the incredibly close game that they had against the Tennessee Volunteers.
Absolutely. Tampa's women's team falling just 1 goal short in the earlier game against the Alabama Frozen Tide. But this men's Division I team has the potential to go all the way after just edging out University of Tennessee in the final minutes of play, 4-3, that final, Spencer.
Yeah, the Tampa Spartans in their their fourth straight College Hockey South championship game. They've won all 3 the last several years. And the Gamecocks were 4th place in the playoffs last year, losing to Georgia, which they got to avenge their loss in last year's semifinal. And then they ended up taking a loss to Alabama in that consolation game to get 4th place. So South Carolina trying to change the storyline as they look to be College Hockey South champions in Division I this year. About a minute and a half in and no shots on goal yet. As South Carolina tried to get one on net. There's another one that goes high and wide off of the shot from Colin Reed. And they'll switch it up for Tampa to take it back down the length of the ice. Going down in pursuit is Scove. Scove with the check into the boards. Get to see a little more physical action in this one than we saw in the women's championship game.
Oh, absolutely. If these previous games, Spencer, that we've been watching all weekend are any indicator, it's going to be a battle out there for every inch of ice. These first couple of games got a little chippy towards the end, especially that UGA South Carolina game ending 5-1 in favor of the Gamecocks.
Tamoyan with the pad save on the initial shot, and Tampa already has 3 shots on goal to South Carolina 0. And this one will be sent out in front. Tampa trying to find an area in the seam, and they do. It's a goal, a score from Braden Gutterman, the freshman out of Oakland, New Jersey.
South Carolina on the board early as this puck is going to find its way out front. What a brilliant centering pass from behind the net to set up a great opportunity. South Carolina taking their time along the boards. Discipline is going to be so key in this battle here, Spencer. Discipline in terms of puck control and discipline in terms of staying out of that penalty box as well. We'll see where that one goes as this night progresses.
The 6-foot freshman was able to see through traffic, and he had only 1 goal heading into the postseason, and he gets a big one here in the championship early. Now, how will South Carolina respond? They did not have this challenge against Georgia, as this goes off of the glove of Tampa's goalkeeper in Meyer. South Carolina went up 2-0 on UGA in last night's semifinal. They allowed 1 goal from Georgia all night, and it was after they went up 2-0, as we have whistle for an offside.
I will point out, Spencer, that was a much closer contest than the score indicated against UGA for this SC team. It was a very, very close game through 3 periods. The Gamecocks opened up the floodgates a little bit towards the end. But most of that game, it was holding at a 2-1 score. Georgia showing why they were ranked so highly at the beginning of this season going into this playoff tournament, but the Dogs fell in both of their games.
Looking for the sling around the boards. Got it there for South Carolina. That was Josh Wilkins who slung it around. And just sent it back as Tampa gets the pressure back on, but they're offside. And that was Ben Cleary who was past the blue line. Tampa with a 4-3 victory in the semifinal last night against the Volunteers, which we'll talk about that in a second. Here's Riley Mercer.
This is actually a rematch for these two teams. They faced each other in the 2023 championship game where Tampa ended up winning 6-1. It looks like Tampa is on that same stretch right now. But Tyler Tamoyan, the Gamecocks goalie, is not one to be messed with. Last night against Georgia, he was a complete wall. But these Spartans, hey, they are fast and they are aggressive. Really, this game could be anyone.
Yeah, Riley's absolutely right. The amount of times that we heard Charlie calling save by Tamoyan, when at least up here in the booth when we were watching the game, it seemed like Tamoyan was trying to hold on for dear life as that gets slapped towards the end, trying to go on the back door. It was a good angle for Puskar, and he could not get it in.
Jake Puskar, 13 goals on this regular season for the Gamecocks, and he's going to want that one back with a yawning net. Great, great, great job by the Gamecocks goaltender, Kyle Meyer, to get over and make that save. Or excuse me, the Spartans goaltender.
Amazing to think as well that these Gamecocks are playing 3 games straight with their win in the first round, 4-2 against the Gators, which was also a good match at that 4-5 seed as that gets slammed on the other side. And 40 seconds in the power play, we have a net dislodge.
As you said, Spencer, a great matchup against those Florida Gators, but a game where, interestingly enough, it goes the other way, where the score was a little closer than the game would indicate. It seemed like the Gamecocks dominated pressure in that outing, certainly dominated puck possession through most of that.
Yeah, that 4-5 matchup on Friday was a great way to headline the matches in the first round for the men's tournament as that puck is slapped down by Fortescue. That's 60 seconds left on the power play for South Carolina. It was Fontaine called for boarding as this goes back to the right circle. Back around to the blue line. Looking for an opening, and we'll get it off of the boards of the goaltender in Tamoyan. Still trying to open up the gap here. 25 seconds on the power play. Looked like it would have been a good pass for a one-timer for South Carolina, as that was Pineda. As they continue to weave it around here, Kyle Meyer. This gets slung down, and with 10 seconds left, that will in all essence kill the power play, and the Gamecocks won't be able to take advantage of it to even the score. At least for Tampa, they are going to send back in Fontaine off the penalty. And here's South Carolina's defense trying to prevent the quick rush. Fontaine loses the puck in to Dunphy's stick. And a good shot from distance, just punched away by South Carolina's goaltender. And we'll have a stoppage in play.
You love to see the big guys battling behind the net on that back check, Spencer. I want to highlight the efforts of John Riggins, the junior from Bethpage, New York, as he's sent to the box. 39 penalty minutes on the season, and he will serve 2 more. The big man getting a little too involved, as they'll call a slashing on that, I believe, Spencer.
You already mentioned it, of how he's got so many minutes. I think it was Sawyer or Charlie mentioned that he's become real friendly with being in timeout on the follow-up, trying to go for the shot there. It was a good defensive maneuver by Dunphy to clear it out of the zone. As for the game, at least for South Carolina, you mentioned he's been in the box for a while. Has a lot of experience sitting over there. I'm sure he's friendly with a lot of the scorekeepers at this point.
And as much time as he's spent in the box, Spencer, he's spent just as much time on the score sheet. 44 points on the season for Riggins. Rostered as a center here, but playing as a defenseman in this contest. A great two-way effort from him prior to that unfortunate slashing penalty for the Gamecocks.
Fortescue, actually, I beg your pardon. No, your pardon. That was a glove save by Tamoyan, who's previously with the AAA Philadelphia Flyers affiliate. He's also had a previous honor in his sophomore year as the January Star of the Month for college hockey's, or I beg your pardon, he had the January Star for College Hockey South just this past month. So, the 6'1" junior from Royersford, Pennsylvania, trying to do his part to, although he's already allowed 1 goal in off of 7 shots, trying to do his part. Quick rush by Schmelzer. .45 seconds left on the power play. Just a tussle there. Scove trying to waste time on the power play, as that's Valesi with the follow-up on the shot. It goes in off of the bounce of the pads. A lucky bounce for Michael Schmelzer, and it's 1 goal added for Tampa's lead to 2.
This is why the bench is always yelling, shoot the puck, Spencer. Get the puck on net, direct it towards that crease, and good things will happen. As another great behind-the-line centering pass leads to a shot from the slot that just hops up over the stick of Tamoyan for his 2nd goal allowed on the day. And a fancy little celebration there, I might add, from Michael Schmelzer. The freshman having fun out there in this championship game.
You can also see they're looking up at the Jumbotron, getting the same shots that you're seeing on your screen. So trying to I guess, appease the crowd that's in have a callback to Sawyer, a dusting of a crowd here in Akins Ford Arena. It was packed last night for that Georgia-South Carolina game, as that was the nightcap with the Bulldogs being the #1 seed, taking an upsetting loss to the Gamecocks.
That crowd got pretty rowdy, Spencer. I don't know if we can expect the same kind of energy from this Super Bowl Sunday afternoon roster, but there's plenty of game left to play. You never know.
12:16 left to go here in this first period, and already Tampa's out to a lead of 2-0. Again, wondering what the response is going to be for this Gamecocks offense, that you wonder if fatigue may start playing an issue on them, playing 3 games straight. Usually with these club hockey teams, you have a 2-game weekend series and trying to go 3 games to go the distance as they try to crash the net, and not much they could do there. Several defenders as well as the pads there of Tampa's own goaltender getting through.
You mentioned how many games these Gamecocks have played on the weekend, Spencer, but hockey is a sport that tests its champions. The NHL requires the most games of any sport to make it to the coveted Stanley Cup. Why would it be any different here at the CHS tournament?
Meyer trying to do his part, as Gamecocks will have to go back into their own zone to get the puck. Chasing it down is Riccatelli. Now let's go for a shot on net, a dart of a shot there from Seawagon. As this goes over the blue line for the Gamecocks offensive push, trying to get a pass in for a one-timer shot. That was Colin Reed in the area. Reed will pass it off behind the net. Can't find anyone to pass it to and just gets the puck swiped. That was Nick Kay trying to get possession of it as the puck goes around the net. It sends back on the left wing. And a good shot that goes off the pads of the keeper, Tamoyan. It's a good shot as DeAngelis goes off to the bench after firing one from the left wing. Back in Tampa's zone. Bounced off the boards, almost intercepted there by, that was Marcella, as this goes back into South Carolina's zone, a swat away from Flaherty. And another check into the boards, a good one from Winkleblack. And we have a whistle. And it looks like we've got a penalty. I think they're going to send South Carolina's Marcella to the box. Yep, Marcella's going to go to the box for 2. Looks like they're calling for roughing.
Understandably so. That was a big hit in the corner delivered by Marcella.
So power play here for Tampa as they lead 2-0. And we have another whistle. We got another penalty, it looks like. It looks like we're going to have a 4-on-4 coming up. For Tampa, they will send Tim O'Connell, the sophomore from Morristown, New Jersey, into the box. You got box mates in there now, or I believe Sawyer put it as roommates around that section.
Something to that effect.
O'Connell has sat in the box for 10 minutes heading into this weekend. And now 4-on-4, only about a 7-6 second difference between the 2 penalties.
It'll be interesting to see what these teams can do with a little bit of open ice, Spencer. A lot of speed on both sides, a lot of finesse as well in terms of handling the puck. we may get to see a bit of a skills competition here for the next 2 minutes.
Puck intercepted at center ice by Valesi. Passed off on the right wing. A one-timer shot off of the pads again at Tomoyan as Fontaine ripped one from outside the right circle. Another shot. This gets gloved down by Tomoyan.
And there it was with a little bit of open ice. What I was saying about this finesse game, Cole Valise, able to stop on a dime there at center ice to turn that puck around, send the momentum down the other way into his offensive zone, and put some heat on the Gamecocks.
And a brief adjustment for Tomoyan. I think his skate may have come loose. At least you can see the great shot by our camera crew here as he takes off the shin pad, trying to just readjust. Let's hand it down to Riley Mercer.
How the energy is down here by the rink. On the ice, you may think it is wild, and it looks wild. These boys are playing crazy aggressive, and it is so much fun to watch. But here on the bench, they are a lot more composed. Both of their coaches seem to be very composed, and they seem to be holding themselves really well. Let's see if that changes throughout the game.
One of the things you'll see different unless there's a disagreement on a penalty is, at least for most benches, they'll go wild when a goal is scored, but coaches will maybe shout out some directions here and there from what we've seen in the men's tournament, but not a whole lot of chirping, as they phrase it.
Absolutely, especially in a tournament where we've seen plenty of chippy moments already. These coaches hoping to keep their boys in check this evening, trying to limit some stupid penalties that create opportunities going the other way.
Puck goes out of play into the mesh. You got 41 seconds left on the 4-on-4. About 7 seconds difference for Tampa to be on the power play.
And that 7 seconds can be such a huge difference maker, Spencer. If you catch a teammate coming out of the box, you send a long distance pass that direction, that can result in some breakaway chances. So we'll see what comes of that extra time here for the Spartans.
Trying to weave it through traffic. And that was Mulcairn trying to go on the rush. Mulcairn still has it with a one-timer, and it's saved by Meyer. The junior goaltender leaving a shutout thus far off facing 6 shots. Tampa will reset. Bounce off the boards, right wing trying to get it in, not going to go. Justin Evans was trying to get something dealing. As you have a quick rush, both the power plays are over, full strength for both, trying to weave it through just outside of the stick reach of Riggins. Back over into Tampa's zone. This is Gutterman who possessed it initially. O'Connell has it now. O'Connell with a quick timer that goes outside of the post. Another shot that goes off of the defender's skate and stays in play. South Carolina dumps it in. That was Winkleblack who dumped it in. Trying to get a check along the boards there was Loken. Loken with the fight for it and a quick opportunity here past the official. One-on-one with the goaltender, couldn't get it high up. Schmelzer looking for his second goal and a great save by Tomoyan. As this gets flung around the boards and stays in play, it's a chance here for Fortescue. Fortescue weaves it through, and on the other side he's got his teammate for the one-timer and a save by Tomoyan. Shot from Robert Seawagon.
And the Spartans are starting to find their groove here. Certainly after 2 goals, one would think they'd found it already, but this is really the game we've seen them play. They're slow, they're methodical, they're working those pucks in. Flashes of speed, however, from these goal scorers on a few of these stretch passes that are connecting. Very in sync, this Spartan squad.
Slung around the board, 6 minutes left to go in this first period, and an opportunity, a breakaway shot and score. Carson Scovey with the first goal for the Gamecocks in the championship game.
Kyle Meyer certainly thought he had enough of that puck, Spencer, but nothing doing as Carson Scovey on that stretch pass that we've seen Tampa use so effectively. Now we've got some game from the Gamecocks here late in the first period.
Scovey with the first goal. Last year had 30 games and 21 goals. This year, 12 goals heading into the postseason. The junior from Lawrenceville, New Jersey, has got South Carolina on the board for the first time tonight. South Carolina wants another one going inside of Tampa's zone. Tried to find the puck. Hagelberger managed to get it. This gets sent down in the South Carolina section of the ice again. Possessed by Flaherty. Flaherty bouncing this out. Loken. Switch for the potential shot that goes high and wide off of the stick of Flaherty.
Carson Scove finally getting that change he's so desperately needed. You saw him hovering around in the slot there looking for his second goal on back-to-back plays. Impressive resolve to stick around on the ice as long as he did after going end-to-end.
A one-timer shot from Nick Kay as he tried to weave it through traffic. Got it on net, but a good save there from Meyer. Back in possession of the puck here for South Carolina. Riggins lost it on the wing. Back over at the blue line, going for the shot in traffic. A great reaction by Meyer.
That one was redirected in front, Spencer.
It looked like it may have gone off of his arm with the redirection. Back in the neutral zone, this goes over Dunphy. Aiden Dunphy got one man to beat, tried to shoot it through the defenders, and then follows it up to sling around the boards. This gets sent back to the blue line and going for the shot from distance. Meyer with a great reaction. The follow-up, another save from Meyer.
Great job by Meyer on the reaction there, knowing he lost that rebound, but getting up, predicting the lift on that shot from Holden Havlicek. Or excuse me, Nick Kay. I'm getting my game boards mixed up.
Riggins sent it back in. This goes off of the skate and into the stick of Fortescue. And this will be sent back up. A puck grab at center ice by Albers, trying to take a one-timer to catch Kyle Meyer off guard. Unsuccessful. (14-12), the shot on goal differential in favor of the Spartans. Back over in Tampa's possession. They'll sling this back out. Schmelzer back out to center ice, and now McCann in possession as he tries to switch it up. South Carolina's defense back in possession of it along the boards next to the official. And a good opportunity getting puck possession, tried to go high up and couldn't get it in. A great shot from Schmelzer and great awareness for him to get the puck. Tries to go backdoor again, didn't have a teammate in the area.
I thought he may have picked that short side corner there, Spencer, as he was looking for the backdoor trailer on the second attempt. Nobody home for the Spartans.
Under 3 minutes left to go in the first period. Bump this along the boards, and another opportunity stealing it off the defender. Trying to weave in, could not fit it through the seam. Ryan Andrews likely wants that shot back as this fires back on the other side of the goal. And Ryan Andrews has the puck. And stoppage in play. It looks like a broken stick on the ice as well.
We get a chance to see some of that Tyler Tomoyan reaction time we've seen so much in this tournament. Getting down on that 5-hole quickly to shut down Ryan Andrews of the Spartans.
Tampa with the first round bye as the #2 seed and the #2 team in the country, as this is trying to get it backdoor, and it's wedged between the pad and the post of Tomoyan.
It's interesting that you highlight their bye, Spencer, considering the Gamecocks have played as many games as they have. It's going to be a very similar scenario to some of these games we've seen where some of these teams have a bit shorter, maybe shorter benches than the others do. There's wear and tear that comes with this, and fresher legs often prevail.
Last second pass off of the shot attempt. That was DeAngelis. As South Carolina gets the puck back, just over 2 minutes left, and a wedge there. They're going to call a penalty. That was the impact of that blow to Savario Marcella. And the officials are going to send Joey DeAngelis, the junior from Madison, Connecticut, to the box.
There's an argument to be made for knee-to-knee contact there, Spencer, but let's see what the call on the ice stands, as that was a bit of an awkward hit.
Tripping is what they're going to call on that. Schmelzer.
Also an adequate call in this position.
Yep. Tampa back on the power play or actually, I beg your pardon, South Carolina on the power play. Tampa trying to defend it, trying to sling it towards the net, and Meyer with another save. Shot from Tommy Marvin. Gamecocks will sling it around the boards. This will go back around, fighting for it with the stick there is Riggins. Another one of those key strategy on the power play is just waste time, as from the blue line, opting to pass it instead, trying to get the better of the screen, and Meyer with another save.
These advantageous passing lanes, Spencer, give the Gamecocks some time to spread the puck around. Maybe take their time looking for a corner to pick.
Puskar dumped back off to Marvin. Marvin past the blue line, everybody on side. Marvin passes to try and open up the defense. 48 seconds left, a shot that goes wide.
It almost looks like they're playing a game of rebound out there, Spencer, a classic goalie training drill that tests a tender with rapid-fire shots and misdirected passes.
Marvin, a one-timer shot again. That was attempted from the point by Pineda. Marvin trying to switch it around. It looked like Puskar was trying to weave it around on the shot. They'll send this back to the right circle. 10 seconds left on the power play. Trying for the one-timer. A diving save for the shot by Guterman. And this will head down the length of the ice to kill the penalty. And that will do it for the end of this first period. A 2-1 advantage for the Tampa Spartans over the Gamecocks after 20. We're going to send it to break. We'll be back with you for the second period in about 20 minutes. We welcome you back to Akins Ford Arena in the heart of downtown Athens, Georgia, where the Spartans of Tampa looking to claim a 4th straight College Hockey South championship in the Division I men's scene, lead 2-1 over the Gamecocks of South Carolina. Let's head down to Riley Mercer.
Has been a key factor in this game. The intensity in the corners has been crazy, and everyone is up close and personal. I think we need to keep an eye out for Braden Guitarman on Tampa, as he's been a very powerful player. Let's see if he can put up another point again in this period.
There's a lot of players they need to put on watch for both sides here in this Division I championship. It's Scovey has gotten a goal thus far, at least for the Gamecocks, to put them on the board. You've also got Schmelzer and Guterman, who both been fantastic. And Guterman just turned 20 a couple days ago. So he got essentially his birth week within the first 7 days of February. It was February 1st he turned 20. So good for him to at least get a birthday goal as a freshman.
Just 20 years old and playing like a seasoned vet today is Braden Guterman, the freshman defenseman, Spencer. You're absolutely right. He's been all over the ice. Such an effective two-way player as well for this Tampa squad, racking up 7 points on the season. 6 assists. He's a team player. What a glue guy.
And they also have Schmelzer, the other freshman, who managed to get on the board for the Spartans. He didn't celebrate a birthday recently, but the freshman from Manalapan, New Jersey, had a total of 7 goals and 10 assists, 17 points heading into the playoffs. And the 5'9" freshman in the right wing position is one of the 2 reasons why Tampa is up 2-1 right now.
Absolutely. You put on a show in that first period, going end to end and showing off the fancy moves that helped him find the back of the net 7 times in the regular season.
Actually, I'll correct myself. 3 reasons. You got Schmelzer, Guterman, and Kyle Meyer in his goaltending thus far.
Oh, absolutely. How could you forget the efforts of Kyle Meyer steering away 14 Gamecocks shots in that first period?
Period 2 underway, as it starts out with the star goalkeeper for the Gamecocks in Tomoyan. Handled the puck a little bit there as it was dumped into South Carolina zone. Swapped both sides of the ice, and this heads back over around the boards. And dangerous puck in front. Henderson fended it off. Henderson had it initially. Puskar will try to sling it around the boards, and the opportunity now for Scove, who loses the puck but chases it. Scove with Ryan's in pressure. I beg your pardon, Ryan Andrews in pressure. And Tampa picking it back up. Alessi had it at first, and now Puskar just slings it into Tampa zone to finally get a line change in for the Gamecocks.
I mentioned fresh legs in the first period, Spencer. It's going to be such a key for these Gamecocks.
Speaking of which, they had a shot on net there and another save by Meyer. Good shot from the left side by Tommy Marvin. Justin Evans trying to sling it in on the pass. And going on the outside, here goes Justin Evans. Will get it around and back over to the blue line, slung in, and it's intercepted by Tommy Martin. No offsides as South Carolina does get it down into Tampa's zone. But only for a moment as it's taken back into South Carolina's zone. It was Justin Evans and company slinging it down. The women's team for Tampa lost in the CHS Women's Championship earlier today to Alabama's Frozen Tide. The Spartans at the number 2 seed. And also the number 2 team in the country on National Hockey Rankings. I beg your pardon, it's third seed for the Spartans. They upset the 2 seed in the Tennessee Volunteers last night. But the Spartans trying to not be the team that, trying to at least bring some sort of trophy home to the Bay Area. Three-time defending College Hockey South champions. Get a shot on the wing that goes off of the pad of Tamoyan. Sent back past the blue line, and we have a whistle for a penalty. I guess it's not a penalty. It must have been an offsides or some ruling there. This one's slow and just skated past the pads of Tamoyan and finds its way down. Colin Reed on the wing. Colin Reed with a shot. It goes off the pad of Meyer and goes past the blue line back. And a quick rush here for Tampa as Sea-Wagon.
Tampa's starting to play up a little bit in this one. Looking to keep that lead alive, keep pressure in the offensive zone.
And we got a whistle.
A few more equipment issues for the goaltender there, Spencer. Tamoyan relaces that pad once again.
Yeah, it's Tamoyan again, second time where he's had to relace it.
The wear and tear of 3 games in a weekend, Spencer, showing itself here tonight.
I wonder if it's similar to some of the other superstitions. Maybe he's used those pads throughout his maybe high school or club hockey career.
Oh, most certainly. Goalies are a superstitious bunch, Spencer.
Yeah, he was with the AAA Flyers, as that's gloved up by Meyer. Interesting note, both of these goaltenders are juniors, and they're both juniors, and Kyle Meyer just celebrated his 24th birthday on January 30th.
Almost 2,000 minutes of ice time on the season between these two goalies, Spencer. Such an impressive showing to be that rock for their team through both incredibly impressive seasons.
Not only that, but they both have the same exact save percentage at .91. Now, rounded to the nearest second digit, but both of them having the same save percentage. And both of them starting all their games, only 9 starts for Meyer, total of 12 for Des Moines. This goes off the stick of Andrews, and trying to rush through is Riccatelli. And another shot that goes off of the pad of Meyer. This will go back into the Gamecock zone. Give him a chance to reset as Tampa also gets a line change in. Both teams resetting in a quick rush, trying to break it up there was Fontaine. South Carolina back in Tampa zone as this goes out to the blue line. Mulcairn back in possession. Tried to weave it around for a potential shot. Couldn't do it. That was Scove.
The big defenseman Tyler Hagelberger taking away the angle there. Nice poke check to keep his team out of danger.
Well, that's the puck ends up in front. Tamoyan will cover it up.
You can see the Spartans now once again trying to create that commotion behind the net that's resulted in their 2 scores thus far on the evening. Those centering feeds in the slot so dangerous, Spencer, especially when the goalie doesn't know which side of the net it's coming from. You have to adjust at a split-second rate, and it's so difficult to do.
Mulcairn with the pass off to Henderson. Andrew Henderson with a shot that ended up going wide of the post. Keeps it onside, looking for a shot to float it in. Maybe looked for a deflection there, did Mulcairn, but he wasn't going to get it on that opportunity. Henderson, he'll dump this back into Tampa's zone, just for it to be bounced back along the boards. Rempe and company controlling the danger. This back over, a good interception, looking for the one-timer and did get a shot, but could not get it past Meyer. That was Scove on the shot.
You mentioned John Rempe. Nice job by him there getting over to make sure that shot does not get off cleanly.
Looks like the puck hit off of the official's back, which you don't see that often. Wilkins will sling it around. South Carolina did get a line change in as Tampa will go back on the push, trying to get it in, and a good body save there from Marvin. Slingshot, and it's gloved immediately by Tamoyan. Braden Guterman, who had the shot there, the freshman wanting to get his second goal of the game. Let's head down to Riley Mercer.
I was wondering what was said in that intermission, though, guys, because the Gamecocks look like they've already started to tighten up their defense and put that face back in their start goalie.
As Wilkins will possess it. Wilkins bounce it back behind the net. This goes back, a shot that goes wide of the post. Back over, Marvin in the area. And intercepted by the Tampa defense, except Marvin gloved it out of thin air as another shot from the outside, another body save on a defender. This time O'Connell managed to prevent the shot from coming off as it goes all the way down the ice for an icing.
Put a little hang time on that pass attempt, Spencer, looking for the home run ball there from Justin Evans, trying to get him on a break down the other end. Nothing doing.
.44 remaining in the second period, a 2-1 lead for the Spartans over the Gamecocks. Now it's an off of the boards and an icing. You saw Tamoyan had his hand up there for the icing. Tampa's bench not happy with that call.
I believe they're looking for a slashing penalty there, Spencer, that will not come.
(20-19). 4 shots on goal in favor of the Spartans. So very close in terms of offensive production for both of these teams on the ice. As this is hit along the boards by Trainer. And another whistle for icing.
Gamecocks doing what they can to alleviate a little pressure here. Maybe trying to get a line change. Hopefully one of those pucks gets enough lift on it that it'll slow down around the Gamecocks zone.
South Carolina trying to find the equalizer from the right wing, Flaherty. Flaherty trying to get it through traffic and couldn't get it to his teammate in K. Flaherty's slicing through, and it's put back into the neutral zone. Tampa back on the rush. Muller trying to get it around. Back over to Reed, slung around Flaherty. And back up the ice is Riggins. Riggins gets shoved a little bit into the boards as Tampa's defense tries to fend it off. The puck's still loose. Looks like it kind of wedged up. Back to the neutral zone in the stick of Fortescue before the pass. Another one, they'll just put it right on net. It's gloved down by Tamoyan.
Robert Seawagon for Tampa there, getting the redirect in the neutral zone to send that puck on net. Easily handled, however, by the veteran in net, Tamoyan.
Slice this one off. Over to neutral ice, trying to fight for it. Center ice, looked like a clean play there at first, and I think they're just going to signal that offside. I think it was Loken and company who were fighting for that puck, but No penalty called. See, you got some joy out of that one.
Oh, absolutely. Logan looked at that and said, I can't go around you, I gotta go through you. Stood up, however, and the puck was kept out of the Gamecocks' offensive zone.
You ever had any of those in your career?
Quite a few. Those open ice hits, Spencer, I'll tell you right now, they do not tickle. Especially when you're on the losing end.
Back out to the neutral zone. 12 minutes left to go in this second period. Back in Tampa's zone to try and score in, as there's a collision there from Schmelzer. Gamecocks defensive line manages to hand it off for now, bounced off of the boards and too far ahead for Winkleblack to do anything with, except he keeps it in the Tampa zone, and this time an intercept from Loken. Loken looking for an opportunity on the back door and couldn't wedge it through. Meyer keeping his guard up. Here goes Penetrante, loses the puck as it gets sliced away by Loken, and another slight check onto the boards as this goes over, bounces off the blue line. A great move there by Marcella, who may have been offsides had he not let the puck bounce on its own, as this gets sent back into Tampa's section, and Tampa trying to fight for it. Another good collision as you saw Huver go into the section of the board with the red line near the bench.
That's certainly one way to separate a man from the puck, Spencer.
This puck decides it wants to fly high and go over into South Carolina's end, and it's picked up. Looking for someone to pass it to on the backside is Fontaine.
Andrew Henderson looking for another big hit there. The coaches love to see their guys finishing their checks. Solid follow through from the senior.
Fontaine ripped one and ripped another one that ended up off of the pads of Tamoyan both times. Mulcairn trying to weave it through for a shot, and it gets on, but Meyer once again with the save. Shots even now at 21 each. For the moment, there's another shot that couldn't get through traffic off of the stick of Pineda. Tampa's defense trying to reset here as they'll sling it around the boards. Looks like you have multiple line changes being considered. It's funny with the puck slinging around the board, everyone on the benches seemed to stand up there. Is it ready for the splash zone as it goes around the stick of Stapert?
Dead even in shots through half of the second, Spencer.
As one rips off of the post, it breaks that evenness.
I may have spoke too soon, Spencer. Goodness gracious, as that one catches quite a bit of iron.
You could hear it sounded like one of those bike bells, the jingle ones that did off of the side.
Oh, we all used to annoy the dickens out of our parents with those as children. And the Gamecocks may be a little bit annoyed they can't have that one back, as it was a great shot that got through. Waiting with bated breath to see which one of these goaltenders breaks first, as it's been the entire second without a score.
Halfway through the second period, and still at where we were when we started, 2-1. In South Carolina zone, Tampa possesses it. Back over to the blue line as they set up an offensive play. Couldn't weave it through traffic. Marvin in perfect position to sacrifice his body to get the puck up. And on the right wing, looks like a shot, and that goes off the pads of Meyer. Albers fired it from just outside the blue line. Here's South Carolina again trying to get up for a pass and lets the puck for a shot, and another body sacrifice for Tommy Marvin. And he is slow to get up, and understandably so. He's hobbling over. Never fun when you have that puck hit you, especially with a powerful shot. Let's go to Riley Mercer.
And I have to say the energy is kind of dying. So I think that this game's outcome is going to really rely on that energy. Who can pull through? Who can finish? It's been a long 3 days, but whoever can bring that energy will take home the title of champion, CHS champion 2025.
It's been a long 3 days for the Gamecocks, certainly. I think Tampa on the men's team did travel out the day before, so technically it's maybe been a long 3 or 4 days for South Carolina, depending on when they arrived out here. But 3 days for all the tournaments for Division I and women's. This gets slung down the boards, trying to go back for another shot opportunity. Back to the neutral zone, but it's picked up by Riccatelli. He gets a bump into the boards. Tampa slinging it down, staying on side. Almost great stick work, and what a great maneuver on his body by Riccatelli, because otherwise you would have seen a direct line to the net there for Evans.
It absolutely was great stick work from Justin Evans. Just stood up there by Ben Riccatelli, taking the right moment to step up in coverage there, not giving him an inch, Spencer.
Speaking of great stick work, another maneuver there by Riggins to prevent the offsides the icing from occurring. As this stays in Tampa's zone for a couple more moments. South Carolina trying to set up the offensive play, and they keep it in as Dunphy is looking for a shot, tried to get it around, and it slings around the boards too high. Tampa chasing it down as it goes all the way back to behind South Carolina's goal. And this will go back out to the neutral zone. Very rare you see that kind of pass backwards between the legs. Fortescue doing that to set up this play.
Those behind-the-back passes are always something that's going to concern your coach a little bit, Spencer.
Here's a potential breakaway opportunity. Trying to weave through was Winkle-Black, but good speed from the Tampa defense.
Fantastic puck control by the Gamecocks there as he tried to hop the puck up and over the head of the defenseman, William Fortescue. Having none of it, however.
Icing was waved off. Ian Huver and company in possession. This gets redirected, not an actual kick. That gets redirected there by Tampa Bay's Valesi, who has the puck now to go around the boards and trying to pass it off from the blue line on a shot. A great save by Tamoyan. The shot fired off by Danny Griffin, and here's South Carolina's Scovey again. Scovey trying to do it himself. Weaves it around with a one-timer and off the pads of Meyer. Dunphy loses the puck. Tampa has numbers for 3-on-2. Tampa in the middle looking for a shot. Couldn't get it through traffic. A body sacrificed by Huber and another save. Tampa trying to get these shots off quickly. It goes past the blue line. They'll reset in the neutral zone.
An opportunity born of Andrews and Dunphy misreading their assignments there on the blue line, leading to a bit of a flat-footed back check. Not a whole lot of speed there coming back into their own defensive zone.
Here's DeAngelis. DeAngelis trying to get the pass off, and a great stick deflection by Mulcairn. 4:57 remaining in the second period. Still no score from either team through 15 minutes. On the Spartan side, you've got Nick Kuzlik, the head coach, assisted by Evan Hoffberg and Cam Sacco. They are 7-3-1 away. Also 2-0 with their playoff appearances from last year. Meanwhile, for the Gamecocks, you got Alan Soroyas, assisted by Steve Rochoux, John Cocklenberg, and Brody Samoich. Here's Scovey. Scovey with the pass and looking for the back timer. They score. The pass set up by Puskar over to Scovey for goal number 2.
Again, Spencer, they tell that defenseman to try and take the passing lane, and he did his darndest here. He just didn't know which passing lane to take as Scovey, looking for the pass himself, sends it right back on the tic-tac-toe. Get the goalie moving, and good things will happen, and we are all tied up here in Athens.
Actually, I'll make a correction here to myself. Both teams do have Both teams did play all 3 games, forgetting about that 2-7 victory that Tampa had against Alabama in the quarterfinals. So the teams here on the ice all coming from the first round. Now, even as we have a whistle with the glove save. .346 left to go here in the second period.
Normally when they say flash in the leather, it's a metaphor, Spencer, but those pads from Tamoyan rocking tonight, they do genuinely look to be made of leather.
Probably helps a little bit with warmth on the ice, too.
Oh, it must. Nice insulation, keeping the goalie nice and cozy in the crease.
Speaking of Tamoyan, he poked it there as it gets sent back along the boards over to Reed, who loses the puck. And trying to go back in for the shot there as a pass dealt over to Valesi, who could not get it through the defender. This goes back out to neutral ice. Griffin. It's like a wipeout for one of the Tampa players over. That was Griffin, actually, who lost his footing. Another check along the boards there, dealt by Reed. That's being sent in, trying to get the deflection. It looked like it bounced on the inside of Tamoyan's pads. May have been a Valesi goal. Looking to sling the shot. A good defensive stand by Loken. Back over to the blue line, and defender comes from behind for the Gamecocks and doesn't allow him to go. Here's Reed and Monsukin. Going to back up, looking for the shot, trying to get the pass off. Couldn't get the power on it, Loken.
Not the pass he was looking for either, Spencer.
Schmelzer on the outside, couldn't get it past Tamoyan. They'll bounce this off of the boards, and that'll go down the length for an icing. Tell you, when Tamoyan needs to make big-time saves, he really does most of the time.
It's nice to know, Spencer, that you have a guy like Tamoyan back there on those odd man rushes. Absolutely. Takes a little bit of pressure off your defense, allows you to play a little more aggressively in that offensive zone, which the Gamecocks clearly were trying to do there when they gave up that opportunity.
You talked about it earlier, 719 minutes for Tamoyan, thus heading into the playoffs.
Absolutely, and he's made the most of them.
Sling shot that Marvin defends with his body. Here's another opportunity that Tamoyan saves. Another save. Tamoyan finally gloves down the puck. Both shots from Ryan Andrews.
Andrews looking short side with both of those. Tamoyan clinging to the pipe there, not giving him an inch.
Under 2 minutes left to go in the second period. Very rare you see in College Hockey South both teams, well, last year's Division I playoff bracket, they expanded the playoffs this year, last year being 4 teams in the semifinal round, extending it to give the higher seeds a first round bye.
We're all the luckier for it, Spencer. 14 games in the last, this is 14 of 14 in the last 3 days.
Tried passing it several times for the final shot from Scovey, and it got broken up by the Tampa defense. As Flaherty fends it off. This goes back out to the neutral zone for Tampa to reset. And stealing the puck here is Pineda, going for a shot attempt, and it just bounces in front of Meyer.
The defenseman caught a chunk of that with his stick, Spencer, slowing that puck down.
Tried the backhanded pass again, did Schmelzer, as it stays in South Carolina zone. Dunphy will send it back. Almost too many men on the ice. A close call for Schmelzer, because if it hadn't hit his skates, would have been a penalty for the Spartans. This gets flung back down in the Tampa zone for Gamecocks to get some changes on the ice. And trying to swat at it may have been costly had it not been fended off by his other defensive lineman, Flaherty, trying to be a little too fancy with it.
Holden Havlicek trying to get back on that forehand for a better angle. Nothing doing as Tamoyan flashes that stick at him. And we've got an injured player on the ice as well, Spencer.
Yeah, looks like Robert Seawagon. But here's a shot that goes too high and wide as they try to get it on the back door. That was a good shot and good attempt as Tampa still keeps the pressure on. Another fake attempt there. That was DeAngelis on the initial shot. Fortescue whiffed on the puck. They'll tee this up. Here's an opportunity, trying to weave through, and it's gloved down. The Gamecocks do not like that there was not a call at the end of the second period, as they've got a Gamecock player down on the ice. And we'll check the replay on this as the period is over. The officials are going to talk it. There's a replay.
It's a bit of a high hit there, Spencer, as Danny Griffin appears to get some upward momentum. I don't want to say he left his feet, as that would be highly accusatory and highly illegal, but there was definitely some upward momentum on that hit that the Gamecocks did not appreciate, especially considering they had such a great chance toward the end of a period that they were under the gun on.
Nick Kay was slow to get up. Let's hand it down to Riley.
After this intermission, and we'll keep you posted on those players. But it really is anyone's game. I think it's going to come down to who can take control in that neutral center. Will the Spartans conquer this game, or will the Gamecocks fly away with the win? We'll be back after.
Final period of College Hockey South action here in Athens. The men's Division I championship and the end of the season for the Division I scene in College Hockey South. 2-2 the score. The Gamecocks, the only team getting anything recorded on game sheet in the second period when we had a 3-2 difference in penalties in favor of the Spartans.
I was going to say, Spencer, when you say anything on the score sheet, you mean anything. A very, very clean second period from these two teams. I would love to hear what was said in these locker rooms after a pretty crazy first with 5 penalties overall, 3 assigned to Tampa and 2 to South Carolina.
Well, we may not get a chance to do this, so we might as well knock it out of the way. First and foremost, a huge thank you to College Hockey South and all of the other staff members and team members who have been running around here all weekend with the amount of chaos, especially with first day ending up leaving here at 1 in the morning with the leaving at 1 in the morning with the delayed bus for the D1 men's team for Alabama. Spencer Thompson, Will Morrow, producer director Theodore Fernandez ending up in the shot. Huge thank you to Commissioner Nell for the opportunity for us and the rest of our crew, and especially this entire crew. I know that Charlie and Sawyer had to leave early so they could get on the road, but great work by them on their calls throughout the tournament, and a huge thank you to everybody else on the crew, and Eleanor and Riley and Kate, as well as these other two, for not only tolerating my nonsense, but being on site for essentially 12, 13 hours every single day. And once we're done here, we pack up and head back on the road, and maybe we'll be on site for the D2 and D3 tournaments in a couple weeks. Maybe not, but it's been fun, partner.
And may I say, it has been, from all of us on this broadcast crew, it has been a pleasure and an honor to work with the incredible Spencer Thompson on these casts, so rock steady through these 14-game weekend. As we get ready to assign the second trophy of the day.
Yeah, so we were just joking about it. One of these shameless self-plugs. So Will and I work on the Alabama Frozen Hour podcast where we talk a lot about the other Alabama hockey teams. We did a remote show on Monday heading into the playoffs, and we were just talking about that. I as the team broadcaster for the women's hockey team, I texted our GM, Savannah Prefontaine, who we were talking about during that broadcast, and I hadn't heard back from her yet, and understandably so because she's busy, but I said, hey, if before you guys bolt out of here, can we get the trophy up here so I can get photos with it in the suit? And hadn't responded, which again, busy. So I texted and said, wait a minute, we should have the trophy on Tuesday. So because we record our podcast every Tuesday during this semester. So I have a feeling it's going to be a fun podcast on Tuesday with recapping the action from this weekend and previewing the D3 playoffs for the men's team, and as well as talking about Och's updates and seeing how things go from there.
Absolutely, we are looking forward to that shiny new table dressing to go along with the lucky puck on the Alabama Frozen Hour cast.
We're also joking in Tuscaloosa, they have a bar called Innisfree where a lot of the hockey teams play. I have a feeling the Stanley Cup tradition where they drink out of it. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of fun with that tonight when they get back to Tuscaloosa. So if anybody from the Bama broadcast is watching, or not just Bama broadcast, but anybody from Alabama watching, we appreciate you watching this one, especially with maybe supporting a SEC rival in South Carolina, hoping that they get a victory against Tampa. And for any of you who are fans for the Gamecocks or the Spartans as well, we appreciate those of you who are joining us here on this Sunday evening before the Super Bowl gets kicked off in approximately 30 minutes from now. As right now, we got another champion that's set to be crowned here tonight in the Division I men's bracket for College Hockey South. South Carolina found the equalizer in the second period and are looking to try and take the lead. Somebody's got to give here eventually, whether it's in the third period or in a potential sudden death overtime. As we get a stoppage, 1:01 into the third.
Absolutely, Spencer. This score can only stay even for so long. The pace has been dead even for both of these teams, neither missing a beat on these stretch pass opportunities, on these slow, methodical break-ins that we've been seeing all tournament. They're honestly playing each other's games, and they're playing them very well through 2 periods here.
We also talked about earlier on in the game, especially with the amount of penalties going on in the first period, of how both these teams needed to get more disciplined and cleaned up. Not a single penalty in the second period. And maybe the trend continues on here in the third.
Well, it seems like we've already
I say
got
maybe.
one.
I say maybe, but looks like they don't have a penalty up on the actual scoreboard. Now they do. So 18 called for the penalty on South Carolina. That's Carson Scovey. Again, we talked about this, how he had 33 penalties, 66 minutes in total heading into this weekend. So Scovey, for high sticking, breaks the streak of the last penalty happening at the 2:03 mark in the first.
And they might miss him on this penalty kill, considering he's tallied a shorthanded goal on the season to go along with his 12.
Potential breakaway here for Loken. He'll just bounce it around the boards, and didn't really have much of his teammates going down to support him on that. And Tampa gets it back in their possession.
They're going to do what they do so well here, Spencer, and set up this cycle, or at least attempt to, under pressure.
Icing waved off as this gets slung back in a fury to Tampa zone. Both teams with at least a 2-goal victory in the quarterfinals, and both teams had a upset in the semifinal round, where more convincing fashion for the Gamecocks over the number 1 seeded Ice Dogs at 5-1, and Knoxville Volunteers out of Knoxville, Tennessee, at the number 2 seed, lost 4-3. As we have a stoppage with the puck going out of play at 17:53. 33-26 on the shot on goal differential in favor of the Spartans. As we mentioned multiple times, the 3-time defending conference champions looking to go 4 straight. Riley mentioned this in 23. This is a rematch of the CHS championship from a couple years ago that was a lot more in convincing fashion for the Spartans. Tampa tries to set up this cycle as Vivalesi send this back to the right circle, bounced off by Schmelzer.
Tampa establishing that point so well this entire play.
And they score! Schmelzer with the pass and the dart from Nicholas Fontaine, and Tampa takes the lead.
As I was saying before, I was so rudely interrupted by this score. This play running through the point, running through the defenseman Brendan Guterman up there, dishing those passes. And it finds the back of the net after some commotion in front. And we've got a lead here, folks, for Tampa.
The sophomore from Bedford, New Hampshire, was the College Hockey South October Star of the Month. Heading into the playoffs, 16 goals, 27 points, and he's given his Spartans the lead. Still a lot of time to go, and on the wing looking for another shot, Tomoyan with the save as Penetrante tried to fire one off for South Carolina.
You can hear those stick taps from the Tampa bench, Spencer. You know they're feeling good after going up early in this third period.
And another opportunity with a one-on-one to squeak through, and it's a goal. Another scorer, Joey DeAngelis, to make it a 2-goal lead for the Spartans.
A rare neutral zone mistake for the Gamecocks here, as no one was even close to Justin Evans streaking down that right side of the ice. Or excuse me, that was Joey DeAngelis on the goal, pardon me. But a beautiful shot to put them up by multiple scores.
DeAngelis, the junior from Madison, Connecticut, 16 games in his appearances. Heading into the playoffs, he had 9 points And now this has opened up for the Spartans with a 2-goal advantage, starting to mirror that 2023 championship game that was a convincing victory. How will South Carolina respond? Gamecocks trying to battle through this adversity with a quick timer and looking for the follow-up. 2 glorious saves by the extraordinary Kyle Meyer.
How will they respond, Spencer? With speed. They will respond with a very, very quick series of shots, handling those rebounds very, very well, and rattling this goaltender a bit. Kyle Meyer, though, not giving anything up that easily.
Face-off won by Tampa as it's sent back by Evans. They keep it inside of the Spartan zone. And this goes back into the neutral center of the ice. Back in possession to Riccatelli. Riccatelli off of the red line, going back in, and not much you could really weave through with 4 players around. Here goes on the wings, Muller. South Carolina trying to bounce it back out. Puskar will get it back to the neutral zone, but finds its way around. As Scovey thought for a second he could catch that puck, but realized, I don't know if I want to catch that fast of a dart. Here goes Puskar, slung around the boards. And 3 intercepted, 3 Flaherty's pass. That was Muller, intercepted it. And Tampa has another opportunity on the wing, looking for the pass, broken up. That was Riccatelli who broke up that pass for the Gamecocks on the defensive front. Sent back in by Griffin.
Got through Riccatelli's legs to create that opportunity in the first place. Good on him to get back and disrupt that play, force him to take a different passing lane that maybe didn't benefit Tampa as much.
Trying to weave through the defense, a shot on Meyer. Ripped one from the right corner and another chance on it. Through traffic, couldn't get it on net. Tried for the follow-up again. 3 shots, 2 saves necessary, but Meyer doing his part. A slice on the stick there to keep South Carolina from letting a shot rip off from the blue line. And weaving through, there's a penalty coming up. And we've got Loken is down on the ice, clenching, and they are going to send Tim O'Connell to the box.
That's never the type of hit you want to see, Spencer. There's a difference between separating the man from the puck and separating the man from the ice.
They call interference on the penalty. They're just going to give him 2 minutes, it looks like. Let's go down to Riley Mercer.
I chatted with the AT, both the 2 guys from each team that went off with what appeared to be a little bit of limp, or both back in the game at full speed. But it sounds like the the Tampa coach heard my talk earlier and really brought that energy to the 3rd period. They came in with that power play, and now they're up by 2. If they keep this energy up, I know they're going to take home that title.
Absolutely, Riley. Mistake-free hockey wins championships. Good on both of these coaches. More so Tampa, I guess, now that what we've just seen, but good on them to kind of clean up some of these sloppy penalties that maybe took their team out of it earlier on in this game.
They'll call a 2-minute penalty on O'Connell for interference. South Carolina will now go on the power play. Chance for them to shave the lead down to 1 goal. Bounce it around with a sling. Meyer with the save as it gets sent back down deep. Shot there from Marvin.
With 2 bodies in front down low there, Andrews and Justin Evans, you would think he wouldn't have gotten such a clean shot off through the slot.
Weaving through Puskar. Sling this around the boards. On the switch back to the blue line. Marvin Pineda. Back over, trying to find the opening in the seam. Slinging around, tried to get a one-timer there from Pineda, and it was just a step behind.
Didn't even look like Evans saw that opportunity float the other way as he was beaten back by the Gamecocks back check, and now they control in their own zone.
Pineda, this will sling around. It's Riggins. Almost lost the puck there, and this time it just goes back out to the neutral zone. Marvin will have to reset as Tampa gets what they wanted in a personnel change. They at least got one person change. Maybe they wanted a couple more than that, but notice it could have been costly. Back up trying to weave it through. Looking to go through traffic, move around two players, and it gets slung back down the ice. That was Guterman.
Tampa will get another much-needed change here.
This gets sliced off, looking on the outside. And we have a whistle. It was Marcella who dealt it in.
Saw the Tampa bench duck for their lives there as that puck went screaming into the benches.
I believe that's what we call a screaming line drive.
Right down the middle, Spencer.
8 seconds left on the power play. Tampa has fended it off well thus far. Maybe a chance for one more shot as they will send the player back out full strength. Dump this back in on the follow-up. Meyer with a great save. Bonsuka keeping it in play, trying to find a deflection in front. Just inside the circle. This gets into the possession of Stapert. Stapert will get it down into South Carolina zone as they'll reset.
Seems like the Gamecocks, or excuse me, the Spartans have some complaints for the refs here as they're not liking the way their players are being treated out on the ice right now.
This gets slung back around the boards. Still 4-2 in favor of Tampa. Thomas Lokins sliding it down the ice. Looking for the collision. And an icing. Winner of this game, for all intents and purposes, clinches a berth in the AAU Nationals tournament next month. Both of those being hosted in Jacksonville, Florida. Both of the weeks, I should say. Where they have it for Division 1, 2, and 3. And this year, the second year of the women's division on the AAU side. Last year had 4 teams head out to that tournament up in Pennsylvania. And maybe the same amount of numbers for 2025.
The women's Frozen Tide team will be one of those likely participating in this AAU tournament. Let's see which one of these Division I men's teams are able to punch their ticket once the third period here is all said and done.
Slung on Meyer, it goes off of his pad for the shot. And we got a penalty coming up, so Tampa is going to go on the power play.
Ryan Andrews psyched to get that one back as Tampa's been playing as much as they've led, a bit under the gun in terms of physicality in this third period.
Carson Scove will head to the box for 2. He's already been in several times in this game as well. He's just adding up on his penalty minutes on the season.
$15 total penalties assigned to Carson Stove in that regular season.
Yeah, this is now his, I think this is his second time in the box actually tonight, because he was in for high sticking earlier.
That was one of those 5 first period penalties.
Oh, he got a double
both
minor
teams.
too. They gave him 4 minutes. Wait for it to update on game sheet. Yeah, one of the penalties is interference, as that'll be updated in a moment. Danny Baum running the game sheet down on ice level. Tampa will be on the power play for 4 minutes. unsportsmanlike conduct also added to that as well. Tampa with a great opportunity. Looking for the outlet in there. Tamoyan with the save. The follow-up shot still stands strong and loose. They whistle it dead. And they're going to send another player in. Looks like a cross check.
Man, all that cleaning it up talk out the window here in the third period.
And maybe a roughing, so a 5-on-3 coming up, and they will send Andrew Henderson to the box for 2.
3 skaters, as you mentioned, on for the Gamecocks, and they're already down 2. This is going to eat up a lot of clock, Spencer, and potentially stifle a comeback here.
Yeah, 5 minutes and 20 seconds being shorthanded.
You've heard the phrase beating yourselves. This may be very well what we're seeing here tonight.
Cross-checking the call. Henderson, who is in the box for South Carolina. Yeah, these 5-on-3s, very hard to defend. I think the lowest I've ever seen is a 5-on-2 at one point, even in the NHL level. Sling on the pad of Tamoyan, as they'll send this back down the length of the ice. Two and a half minutes in total until the Gamecocks get back to full strength. Valesi trying to pressure it on the switch.
Tampa seems to run this power play with a heavy emphasis on passing, Spencer. There's a lot of waiting, not a ton of reliance on that chaos down in front like we've seen so many teams lean on in this tournament. They're looking for that perfect pass. They're looking for that perfect shooting lane. They've found it a few times here tonight, but not always the most effective strategy on a power play. Certainly helps eat some clock, however, excuse me.
Under 2 minutes left until full strength for South Carolina. Make that 25 seconds until they just have a regular power play. Facing a 5-on-3. Trying to get in front, and lucky that Staper did not fully possess the puck. He would have ripped a shot off there from the corner. As there's Staper with the shot that goes, it glides off of the pads of Tamoyan. And now back to just a regular power play for 1:20 and a slap shot that does not go anywhere. Ryans did not have the accuracy. Puck slings around the boards. 60 seconds left on the power play. From the blue line, looking to open up the defense. They'll just sling it in, looking for the backhanded shot. Could not get it to go. Tamoyan once again. Back outside the blue line. Here goes Stapert, and we have another penalty called. They are going to send Ryan Andrews to the box for Tampa, and South Carolina will have 1:20 on the man advantage, but 4-on-4 for the next 40 seconds.
Might have honestly been a little bit of a lucky break there for South Carolina, as Guterman had a yawning net as the ref blew the play dead there. Could have very easily been a 5-2 contest. Instead, we're going to see yet another power play and yet another penalty kill in what has been a very, very chaotic third period.
Back along the boards, Tampa will take it out of their own zone. Fontaine. They have to opt to bounce it back with the pressure here from the Gamecocks, in particular, that pressure from Marcella. Reaching through the puck possessed there by Guterman. Guterman just trying to shovel it in and kept out of Dangerous way there, Marvin.
5-on-4 now in favor of the Gamecocks.
7 minutes left to go in regulation. South Carolina down by 2 to Tampa as they are on the advantage for the power play for 60 more seconds. And glove down by Meyer.
Still a minute left in this power play, Spencer, and they're looking at another face-off in their offensive zone. Momentum not quite shifted yet here in the third, but it's creeping towards the favor of South Carolina as they're going to get an opportunity to get one back here. They need this so badly here as clock is winding in the third.
Back along the boards for about 6.5 left. This gets slung over. Blue line kept in play for South Carolina. Looking on the pass off, trying to find an opportunity in traffic, and it's gloved by Kyle Meyer. The amount of times he's sniped the puck out of the air has been a big reason of why South Carolina only has 2 goals on.
Absolutely. But South Carolina playing this make or break power play perfectly. Clearly John Riggins got the memo with that big shot.
Send it around, 30 seconds left on the power play. Get it back up, looking for the angle. It's a goal! Power play goal for Tommy Marvin. And South Carolina back in business with about 6.5 left to go in regulation.
We'll see another one of those passes come south to north, up from that red line. He'll find Tommy Marvin in the slot. A beautiful shot to put the Gamecocks back within striking distance here in the third period.
.6:14. South Carolina has just made it interesting. Tampa lifted it up along the boards as this gets sent back down to the neutral zone, and South Carolina gets interception. Pineda loses the puck after he's swarmed by 2 Spartans. .540 left to go here in regulation.
Still plenty of time, a little bit of pressure off South Carolina is maybe down 2. Maybe not with 6 minutes left, but obviously the thought is floating in the back of the coach's mind. Is it time to pull the goalie just yet?
We mentioned in all the games that we've called this weekend about how statistically it favors you more the sooner you go.
The closer to 5 minutes you are, Spencer, absolutely the analytics are in favor of yanking that goalie, especially if you're able to trust your defense as much as South Carolina has been able to in this tournament.
Rush on the wing there for Muller as it's gloved down by Tamoyan. .520 left in the third period. Scove, who's already got 2 goals, might be trying to get some sort of hat trick. Back out to Guterman. He'll lift this back up again, trying to slice at it, Flaherty, and leave offside.
Tampa's been so sturdy, Spencer, defending that blue line all night, pressing up and not allowing any clean zone entries for South Carolina, but looks like they got a little sloppy on the zone entry there themselves that time, as we'll see a face-off at center ice.
Bounce this off of the boards past the blue line, intercepted by Fortescue. Glove down by the South Carolina player. Here's Fortescue. And they'll sling this back up. A chance has it sliced off, and chance on the wing, but nobody to pass it to at first. He'll take it back into the middle, but it's sliced away by Fortescue.
We talked about momentum earlier on, Spencer, and it seems like that goal gave this South Carolina team a little bit of a shot of life. We're seeing some quick zone entries here, some quick shot attempts.
Here's another quick shot attempt, but too high of a lift by Trainer.
That being said, yes, sir, momentum can always come back to bite you. If you play up too far, you risk giving up quick opportunities in the other direction, and they're lucky they have that rock-steady goaltender back there making all those saves.
Nicholas Fontaine, actually, the player who lifted up and tried to take the shot there on the slight breakaway. And we have a whistle. Let's go down to Riley Mercer.
Box is being put to a pretty good use this period, and the Gamecocks put themselves back in this game with that last power play. But Tampa is still on fire. They are still executing, I think, just a tiny bit better than the Gamecocks. I fear the Gamecocks might be going back to the coop empty-handed tonight.
Josh Wilkins for South Carolina going to the box, and now Tampa will be on the power play to try and get a 2-goal lead.
Riley Mercer a little quick to sleep on these Gamecocks at the moment as they are playing from under the gun, but she is absolutely right about this Tampa Spartan squad. They have not taken their foot off the gas despite giving up a goal here in the third, and they're ready to display that pressure further here on the power play.
And you're right about the time winding down on these power plays. The amount of time that South Carolina has played short-handed has really been a detriment to them. And it may not be here. Here's a breakaway opportunity. Looking for the shot. Too high up from Scove. But we have a penalty. We have a slashing.
Scove, no stranger to short-handed goals himself, gets an opportunity down the left side of the ice then.
They're going to send Guterman to the box for the slash. You see that on the replay. The net getting dislodged, but a 4-on-4, South Carolina will have 17 seconds on a man advantage.
Even on the penalty kill, Spencer, even playing from behind, this South Carolina team is showing that they have not given up on their championship dreams just yet.
Got another whistle for face-off. Officials talking here with Fortescue and Scove. Just talking about the position they need to be in. Making sure they don't jump early on the face-off.
Always a little awkward to take these offensive zone face-offs when you're down a man.
They'll let this on the backside. That was a stick deflection, I should say, as that was Justin Evans who made sure the shot didn't go on goal. 40-35 on the SOG metric in favor of Tampa. Four on four for the next minute and a half. And puck lost there on the bounce, but recovered as almost a costly error for South Carolina.
You could see
as
those.
they rush back, trying to go for weaving around the puck there was Bonsukin with a stick being lost by one player. Tried to get it back, but couldn't fire the shot off. Bounce this along the boards, and Justin Evans will take it himself as Tampa will get a line change in. Tampa to dump it back, looking on the outside. A shot that goes high and wide off of the stick of Valesi. South Carolina with a quick rush here on the outside. It's John Riggins who will keep it along himself but can't weave it back as you have a wipeout into the boards by Danny Griffin. Send this back down the length of the ice for Brendan Flaherty. Flaherty trying to do some fancy stick work and couldn't weave it around Griffin. We're at 2 minutes, 10 seconds left in the championship.
And not a bad play there by Colin Reed to play that puck back into his own defensive zone, trusting his defenseman to lean into that and maintaining possession throughout this penalty kill despite being down a man. Oh, excuse me. It has been even strength.
Yeah, even strength on the 4-on-4. Now it is a power play advantage for a couple of seconds for South Carolina as they had a couple players tripped up, tried to get on the back door for the shot, Puskar, but couldn't get him in time. Slicing at it, almost a dangerous play for Penetrante as South Carolina has no more advantage on the man.
That's what I was talking about right there, Spencer, prior to that that first intermission, with a streaky player coming out of the penalty box, trying to turn an opportunity going the other way.
The final minute, 11 seconds. Tampa controls it in South Carolina's zone for a chance at the championship. One minute left. As Tampa will just sling it around in their own zone. 47 seconds as this goes down on the empty netter, and that is going to be a 5-3 advantage for Tampa.
It gets past Bonsukin there at the blue line. And that may just be the dagger here in this championship game, folks. As you can see the Tampa bench starting to celebrate. Just a mishandled puck at that blue line turned into a bit of a misstep there for SC.
.4, no timeout called by the Gamecocks. You wonder if they maybe pull the goaltender again just for a last-second desperation play, but with the way this game has gone and how challenging it has been for South Carolina to really get good looks, maybe all but over. 35 seconds, empty netter goal, and intercepted again on the outside. Here goes Valesi trying to go for the shot. It goes high, away from Tamoyan.
Still playing so aggressive, Tampa Bay looking for that final nail in the coffin here.
Bonsukin tried to weave it through for a shot on incredible work that Meyer has done throughout the game, and looks like no sense of urgency. I think South Carolina is just going to let it go. Well, it's difficult to have a dynasty in collegiate sports, but the 8-1-3 continues to ring in the celebration. 4 straight years, the Spartans of Tampa are champions in Division I for College Hockey South.
Four seasons for Tampa, 4 championships for Tampa as Nick Kuzlik, the head coach, is going to take home another one. He's got to be so proud of this group, especially these 4-year seniors on his roster who have been nothing but champions in their days at Tampa.
I have a feeling that this D1 championship trophy has been used for many a celebration over the last couple of years. Heading back to Tampa, Mackenzie Kane would be happy.
Absolutely.
Well, maybe happy that it's coming back to her city, but maybe not so happy because of being at Washington and Lee University. But South Carolina, hard-fought battle. In all essence, just a 1-goal game that they lost, minus the open netter.
Absolutely, and it got away from them in terms of penalties there at the end, Spencer. a few costly mistakes in a third that they knew going in was going to be tight. As I said in the first, it came down to discipline, and today the Tampa Spartans were the more poised, more disciplined team. And they executed across all 3 periods.
Truly great last 3 days. All College Hockey South action and celebration about to fully get underway. Commissioner Kyle Nell on the ice with the Division I men's trophy as they lower down the music, or they're supposed to as they get started. Schmelzer, not a surprise, freshman with a goal and incredible performance he had. Final handshake that Commissioner Nell has to do for a week. They got the Division II and Division III championships in, or basically 2 weeks when those championships will go down in Coral Springs, Florida. And Tampa is back on top of the Division I men's College Hockey South world, and we'll more than likely see them in Jacksonville next month. Well, partner, we already said it at the start of the 3rd period, but it's been a lot of fun. The grind is over. I need some more herbal tea. try and relieve the vocal cords over the next 48 hours before we get on the podcast and everything. But that is your champion for the Division I men's section of College Hockey South, likely on to the College AAU Nationals for hockey. For Will Morrow, Riley Mercer, our producer, director, Theodore Fernandez, all the hardworking men and women that make this run so smoothly. I'm Spencer Thompson saying so long from Athens, your champions for Division I in College Hockey South, the Tampa Spartans, for the 4th straight